The concept of the overhead press is to lift weight above your head so that your arms are parallel to your torso and perpendicular to the ground. Unlike a lot of other exercises, there are some prerequisites that need to be met before you can complete this exercise correctly. In this day and age, proper overhead mobility has become a rare find, so make sure that you have adequate overhead mobility before you attempt to press heavy weight over your head. The reason why adequate overhead mobility is so important for this exercise is because the weight will always feel lightest when it's above your center of gravity and traveling perpendicularly to the ground. What will inevitably happen if you lack the proper overhead mobility is you'll bend at the back as much as necessary to falsify the range to make sure that your arms will be perpendicular to the ground. This can cause back pain or damage and also disrupt efficient muscle patterning. Lucky for us, counterfeit versions of the overhead press are easy to detect because your arms and torso will have a different angle. In a proper overhead press, you should be able to draw a straight line from your wrist all the way down to your hips. If you are trying to falsify a range, however, you will not be able to draw this line. The three most common counterfeit versions of the overhead press are 1. Arching your back as much as necessary to make sure that your arms will be perpendicular to the ground. 2 is to bring your head forward to line up your ears with your elbow instead of bringing your arms back to line up your elbow with your ear. The third one is not pressing vertically. At least this one you're being more honest with yourself, but is still an extremely inefficient way to press weight. Now that we've covered all the things to stay away from, we are going to briefly cover how to assess your ability to press weight overhead. If you can lift your arms straight up so that they are parallel with your torso and perpendicular to the ground, then you are allowed to press. If you cannot achieve this range, then you fall into one of two categories. The first one has the range, just requires a little work to revive it, and the second one isn't even close. If you are part of the first category, then some simple short-term stretching should give you the range necessary to complete the press. My personal go-tos are hangs, eccentric stretching, and PNF stretching, which I will not cover here, but I will cover in a part 2 to this video. If these methods don't help, then you are most likely from the second category, and you should stay away from overhead pressing until you acquire the prerequisites necessary. Set the bar at a height that will require you to get under the bar to unrack it. Take a grip between shoulders width apart to 2 inches wider than shoulders width, wherever you feel strongest. Try not to use a false grip. It would be best if you used a full grip over here. Take a big belly breath, unrack the bar, and clear the rack. Here we are left with a dilemma. On the one hand, you want the bar path to be as vertical as possible, but on the other hand, your head is in the way, which will require you to press the bar around your head. The solution for this dilemma is very simple. What you're going to do is you're going to tense up your quads, your butt, and your abs, and then you will push your hips forward. Pushing your hips forward will clear your head out of the way, then you'll be able to press the bar vertically, and as soon as the bar clears your head, you can straighten back up again. And the tension in your abs will protect your lower back from compression pain. Secondly, your quads, butt, and abs will help store elastic energy through their isometric bonds that will help you press the weight as you jolt your hips forward. As soon as the bar clears your head, straighten out. I love to compare the lower torso musculature to a tent. A tent upright posture is dependent on the equal tension between the ropes and pegs on both sides of the tent. If the tension on one side of the tent is more than the tension on the other side of the tent will be lopsided. Think of your spine and ribs as the canvas, and your lower back muscles and your ab muscles as the pegs and the ropes. If one side is tensing up more than the other side, the canvas, which is your ribs and your spine, will be lopsided and you can suffer pain or imbalances. Keep the tension equal and you will not have this problem. It is very common in the overhead press for people to really tense their back up. If you do not equalize this tension with tension from your abdominals, you will very likely suffer from back pain. So remember, if you feel yourself tensing up your back, remember to squeeze your stomach as hard as you can to provide equal tension. Now remember that you're moving at the hips, not at the neck, so you're not going to move your head out of the way and then press the bar. You're going to shove your hips forward and that will push your head out of the way. Needless to say that if you have the prerequisites to the overhead press, partial range reps should not enter your mind. If you do partial range reps, you may lose your full range of motion. Make sure every rep goes from your lowest possible position to your highest possible position without shrugging. Tricks that will help you lift more weight and get more reps. 1. Press with a belly full of air. Never exhale during the rep, only after the rep is complete. 2. Pull your elbows down before initiating the press. This will give you a little bounce. 3. Pause at the top and not at the bottom. This again will help you take advantage of the elasticity in the tissue. Keep in mind that these tricks won't help you build mass, they are more for athleticism and efficiency, which will allow your body to move more weight with less horsepower. In other words, to complete what would otherwise require or necessitate more muscle or contractile fibers.